As we gotta grab our pitchforks and your lawyers, because this week Sony dropped a lawsuit saying that it's suing Tencent over a game so eerily similar to Horizon Zero Dawn, fans are already calling it Horizon Zero Originality. Yeah, we've got allegations, we got clones, we got panda bots, and a scramble on a Steam page. Let's unpack this IP showdown in a true Nerf report fashion. In case you're not aware, Sony filed a lawsuit in California, citing copyright and trademark infringement. They accused Tencent's upcoming game Light of Motorum, developed by Polaris Quest, of being a literal Horizon clone, all the way down to having a red-headed, bow-wielding heroine hunting robotic dinosaurs. And Sony came with receipts. They even said that Tencent came and pitched the company on a Horizon spin-off back in 2024. Sony turned it down, and then secretly, Tencent in the background built this game, complete with robotic beasts, tribal tech gear, and of course a less than subtle marketing campaign. And it's not about fair inspiration, right? Like, you can't be like, oh, it's inspired by Horizon. Like, it's clearly a clone. This is a Horizon-style video game set in the Horizon universe, and Sony isn't pulling any punches. I mean, they want damages, and they want a legal swift kick to stop this game in its track. And this is where this whole story gets tricky, because whether it's PlayStation, or whether it's Nintendo, or whether it's Pokemon, or whether it's Palworld, or whether it's Horizon Zero Dawn, in the world of creation, there is a saying that says, everything that is about to be created has already been created. The idea behind that phrase is that we all borrow inspiration. It isn't theft. It's remixing. It's reimagining. It's innovating. Mario was not the first platformer. Call of Duty didn't invent the first-person shooter franchise. And let's be honest, Aloy isn't the first redhead to ever hold a bow. In fact, I read a really good book by Austin Kleon that's called Steal Like an Artist. And in that book, they basically say that, like, stealing like an artist doesn't mean you copy your neighbor's homework and just change the font and you'd be like, oh, I changed it. This is what I'm doing. It means that you take influences from everywhere. You filter them through your style and then you make something new. And that's what makes this Tencent case so interesting. Because are these examples influence, or are they just like Control-C, Control-V, and slap on a new logo? Because again, let's pull up the trailer. What's exactly the same here, right? You could argue that the hero's design, the tribal attire, the bow, they look like Aloy. The environment is a post-apocalypse mixed with tech and nature, where nature's reclaiming things, but tech is still trying to survive. And then you got the sand and the steel, which of course we saw in Horizon 2. And then the mechanicals, right? Sony says that this game literally has the same mechanical mastodons, the same mechanical horses, and it's so close to Horizon that you could have sworn that you were just watching the trailer for Horizon 3. In fact, one of the comments in the game's YouTube trailer said, my non-gamer wife watched this trailer and said, I don't know why you're excited. You've already played this game. And Tencent is trying to distinguish themselves here and be like, no, we're not Horizon. We're our own thing, by being like, we've got survival, base building, co-op, crafting. But fans on Reddit or even on YouTube, they're not buying it, right? They're like, nah, you're making Horizon Zero originality over here. In fact, the internet has had a field day with this one. Reddit users are like, this is a blatant ripoff. Remove the logo, and this is Horizon 3. They pitched, got rejected, and then cloned. Sony should take them to court. Dialogue, armor, forest, weirdly close in every single frame. And then my personal favorite comment was like, oh, it's Horizon with Palworld filters. But look, that's where we were when the lawsuit came out and this story first debuted. Here we are in the present, and there has been an update. Okay, Tencent has just completely scrubbed the Steam page. If you go to the Steam page for this game, they have stripped out the robotic mastodons. The Aloy lookalike is gone. The mecha animal text has completely disappeared. The glider shots are gone. And the colossal machine taglines is completely removed. We got brand new key art that features a penguin robot. There's no Aloy images at all. And the release date has even been pushed back till 2027. And you might ask, like, cool, but why does this matter? what does this impact me? I just want to play good games. In fact, there is a very valid argument of being like, Sony's a billion-dollar organization. What does it matter if someone makes a game that's inspired by one of their games? But I would argue that for Sony, their IP is gold. If clones run wild, then the value of Sony completely drops. Like, if I can go play Uncharted in Roblox or on Fortnite or on Minecraft, why would I spend the money on the new Uncharted game when I can just play an Uncharted knockoff game to get the experience? And that's where this story becomes fascinating, because on the big scale, we like to say, oh, Nintendo and PlayStation, like, whatever, keep crying, you guys have millions of dollars, but you shrink the stage, and this story gets real very quickly. Let's pull this one up. Look at Peak, right? This is a game called Peak. It is a viral 2025 indie climbing game that hit 5 million in sales very fast. But then, here comes a Roblox clone, right? There's a Roblox clone called Cliff that mimics its gameplay, has similar visuals, and even spawn zones. Kicker, it's filled with microtransactions. In fact, the microtransactions are so bad in this game that the original developer of Peak came out and they're like, I would much rather you pirate my video game than play the microtransaction-riddled Roblox clone. And again, it might seem like a different story, but this is just the same story scaled down, right? Indie developers have zero legal teams, no platforms to remove clones fast, and often robo-copies steal their visibility and their revenue. Meanwhile, Tencent, they can come in here and they can pivot, they can hide assets, they can lean on with legal muscle. There's a huge double standard here. So, yes, on one hand, Sony's a billion-dollar organization. They will be perfectly fine at the end of the day. But if Sony loses this lawsuit, this is not only going to impact the AAA market, but it will have ripples across the entire gaming space. So as always, please sound off in the comment section down below with your thoughts. Do you think this is fair enough, or do you think it's fair game? Drop your takes down below. I look forward to reading each and every one of them.